All right, so it is Thursday evening in the summertime, which means we are back for another Slice of Pie series featuring our Team Thursday. So, huge shout out. First, I just want to say welcome. We are so excited. We have a singer, songwriter, and vocal producer who's going to kick it off today. I am honored that you're here. I am a fan. Not really ashamed to say it. So, we are so excited that you're here. And Bella, it's good to see you, honey. How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm sorry I've been gone for so long. I'm just I'm just a busy person, and a lot of stuff just happens to fall on Thursdays. But we're back. So, hey.
Thank you, and I'm glad to see you. So, why don't you tell us about this amazing Sakyrah Morris that you have in front of us, this beauty? Who do you have joining us?
Well, like you said, this is Sakyrah Morris. She is honestly just an amazing person. She is singer, songwriter. She is a musician. She is like literally everything I aim to be. Honestly, you are who I want to grow up to be. Like, I'm being so serious.
All right, let me get it. Try. Okay.
But I think honestly, I can't do her any justice just saying how amazing she is and how talented she is. So I'd like, honestly, it'd be great for her to explain to y'all how amazing she is. I literally can't explain it. So our very first question for you is, how did you first become interested in music, and at what age did you start pursuing it seriously?
So I started singing in church when I was a kid. I don't know how old I was, like 5 or 6, something young, but I used to sing in the children's choir. My grandma sang in the choir, my parents sang in the choir. It was just kind of something that everybody did. So I always sang, and then I was kind of shy about it for sure growing up. But in 7th grade, I did a talent show at school, and my parents showed up. They weren't supposed to. And from that point, I just was like, you know what? I actually can sing. Like, I can actually do this. So I started to, release songs on SoundCloud, like different cover songs that I used to like to sing. And it wasn't until my senior year of high school that I actually decided to be an artist. I had a class in high school called Industry of Music, and how it worked was you were in a group of 4 for the whole year, and one person was the artist, one person was the producer, one person was like almost like an A&R, so like just doing a lot of business stuff. And I forget what the last person was, maybe like a manager or something. But I was the artist in the group, so I had to operate, as an artist, just writing, recording, doing all these different projects. And then in high school, I actually joined this collective of artists called Free Soul. It's spelled Freesole. And basically, it was a collective of, I can't guess the number off the top of my head, maybe about 10 of us. 10 artists, mainly rappers. It was myself and another singer. Her name is Olive Blue. She was actually on The Voice.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a collective of just artists, just wanting to stay close to each other. So I feel like being around them in high school really allowed me to be in spaces that, developed me as an artist, because they were very serious about their craft, was always at different open mics in the city and things like that. So I just, decided to tag along with them and really learn from my peers, which was pretty cool. So, then that just developed into me going to college and just becoming more and more of an like individual and like really secure in who I was as an artist. So a lot of different stepping stones, long story, but it's the little things that get us to where we are.
That's powerful. I love that, and I love the fact that you followed your dream and your passion.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a lot of times, especially creative folks, that I am a creative person. I started out going one way, and then I was deterred by other people saying, well, you can't do that, nobody does that, and then it was like, okay, I guess I'll be working a corporate job because I can't be quote unquote creative. So I love that, and that's just good motivation for anybody, any age that's listening, to just follow the path that that you're meant to be on, and it'll work out. I'm gonna drop a quick question because I got a secret question that just showed up on my phone. I don't want to say where I got it from right quick, but word on the street is that you have a tattoo that honors your grandmom that went viral. And so if you don't mind, can you share what that's about?
It's actually right here, like right underneath my collarbone. But basically,
Wow.
I forget what year exactly my grandmother left me this voicemail, but she would call me every year on my birthday, most times like as it was approaching midnight. But there's one specific year I had fell asleep and my grandma called me and she left me a voicemail saying, happy birthday, I love you, call me back. And a few years later, after she had passed, I decided to get a tattoo with the waveform of her voicemail.
Wow.
I saw this company, I'm blanking on the name of this company, but what they do is they have different tattoo artists that can tattoo these kinds of things, and they have this technology where you can take a picture of or hold your camera over your tattoo in their app, and the voicemail would just start playing.
What?
Yeah. So what went viral was the video of me at the tattoo shop of me holding my phone over my tattoo, and that voicemail just started playing, and literally it just went viral on everything, like my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all these different news blogs, radio stations. I think the biggest thing I did was I had a radio interview with BBC in London. They had a radio interview. I still have the recording of my phone.
I would too.
So it was kind of crazy that my grandma had a huge impact just on me as an individual, like one of my biggest advocates. So for people to Google my name and all that you see is just articles with pictures of us, and it's like that's the most beautiful thing I probably could have ever asked for, but really didn't imagine it all. I was just doing something that I wanted to do, something that honored her. So it was a really beautiful moment for sure.
Oh wow! Well, thank you for sharing that, and thank you for the super secret person that gave it to me. but yeah, that is thank you, super secret. But that was amazing. I'm sorry, Bella. Please proceed.
You're fine. Sorry. That was like what?
Yeah.
That's such a great thing to like be known for.
Mm-hmm.
Like to like be known because you love your grandma so much it's such a powerful thing, honestly, to just be known for how much you love a person.
Yeah.
Especially when so many people are known for how much they don't like someone or just how much negativity they put out. And it's amazing that you went viral for how positive you are and how much love you had for a person, and you were willing to get this permanent thing on your body to remind you of them. It's just like amazing, honestly.
Thank you so much.
No, Bella, you can't have a tattoo. She's grown.
I'll get it when I'm 18.
Yeah, there we go.
Our next question is, can you tell us about your journey as an artist, singer, and audio engineer, and how did you manage to excel in all of these areas?
So when I was in 7th grade, after that talent show that I said that I had, my mom actually bought me a MacBook Pro, and I started to record myself. Like whenever she would be at work and I'd be home by myself, I'd just be in the house just singing my heart out, recording all these songs. Because I was still nervous to sing in front of my family sometimes, or just anybody. So I would just wait until I was home by myself, and I would start to teach myself how to use GarageBand, which is the basic recording software that comes with Apple computers. So I would just use the built-in microphone that computers have, and I would record myself and kind of just teach myself how to use what an EQ is, what a compressor is, how to use reverb, how to use all these different, technical plugins that make songs sound like songs. And so in doing that in middle school, that definitely developed my passion or my drive to just want to learn how to do that. Because recording is one of the most expensive things that artists are responsible for. Especially at this time, it's nothing for somebody to charge you $70 an hour to record a song. And
what?
Exactly. So to spend, at least 3 hours to record a song, 2 or 3 hours to just record one song, then you have to pay for the mixing services, the mastering service, and now you're at, I don't know how much money per song. So when you add up how much it takes to do an entire album, it's just like, that's thousands of dollars. That can be a lot of money, not including, visual elements, videos, photo shoots and things like that. So in my mind, I'm like, well, if I learn how to do this, then I don't have to pay for it like ever in my life. So it was almost like a financial decision that I made, just to like be more self-sufficient as an artist. And also just, my mom has always kind of just taught me to just know how to do things yourself, like just be self-sufficient, not having to need a bunch of people for everything, and just knowing how to get it done on your own. Not saying that it's wrong to ask for help, but
but independence is important.
It's super, super important. So engineering wasn't one of those things that I picked up for that reason. And so all through high school, like when I got out of middle school, all through high school, I was actually super passionate about photography. And so I kind of didn't even, not saying I didn't take music too seriously or recording too seriously during that time. I was just super passionate about pursuing photography and visual art and stuff, because I was at art shows, I was winning awards, winning scholarships. Like it was a thing. I thought that I was just gonna be the next, I don't know. It was really fun for me. And so when it was time to decide what to do for college, I had went to U of I for a week off of this scholarship that I had got. And I was there doing graphic design. I'm like, I know how to do this stuff already. Like, this would be a waste of time, a waste of money if I spent 4 years learning something that I just spent the last 4 years already developing. So I'm like, let's go for music. Like, what if I just go for music engineering or, something like that? And U of I didn't have a program for that. It wasn't developed yet. They didn't have a studio. And I'm just like, So then it was just like, back to square one. I'm like, where do I go? There was this other college I just swore up and down I wanted to go to, but they weren't an accredited university. My mom was like, you can't go there.
No.
Like, tomorrow and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, fine. And so then I ended up at Columbia, which is like one of the top art schools just around, Columbia College in Chicago. So I ended up there to pursue a degree in audio engineering and, balancing learning engineering and also being at an art school where you can be an artist and pursue those things. It was fun to find a balance between being SOS and being Sakyrah the engineer and just figuring out how to put energy into both of those things and also still into my photography and my design skills and all that stuff. Figuring out how to balance the three of those things so that I don't know. So that I just felt fulfilled as an artist. It never felt right to just focus on one thing or the other, or to just, put one thing down. So, and it was also a lot of believing in your craft and believing in what you do. So there's a lot of people that, can give you the whole spiel of pick something, you gotta do this or you gotta do that, or even not even encouraging the artistry as a whole, just because it's not lucrative, you can't make money, blah, blah, blah. Whatever those hesitations are, those are all things that I have definitely heard. And it's just and then you get to a field of audio engineering and there's no Black people there. And what do I do now? So it's definitely a lot to work through. So it's definitely super important that you're just firm in what you're passionate about and what you want to do, and just if you know you want to do the work, then you do the work. You do what you have to do in order to maintain, in order to develop in those things, and in order to balance all of those things. It's definitely not easy, but it definitely wouldn't be doing anything else.
And it's a gift. There's some people who can. I say this all the time. So for those who are listening to the replay, I'm saying it again. But there's some people who are gifted with being able to spin multiple plates at one time, and some people can only spin one. I'm a multiple plate spinner, and so a one plate spinner can't tell me I'm doing too much, because in their eyes it looks like too much, but they weren't built to spin multiple plates. You're just spinning multiple plates, and that's okay. And so. Just the fact that you were able to get past the doubt, like I think that's a lot of times where people kind of lose their gifting and their talent. Not a dream. I mean, a dream is one thing, but you're gifted with some things, and you happen to be one of those folks who just overcame the doubt and all of that. There's a question in the room for you, real quick. Asking if you do mastering and mixing for artists on the side. And also, I dropped the link tree so that y'all can contact her after this for SOL. My new daughter, my new child's link tree has all her Instagram and all that information. I'm going to drop it again. And for those who are listening to the audio, it will be in the description. So y'all will have a way to reach her. If you're listening to it on any of the podcasts, again, and also halfway through, make sure you're liking the video to support our channel and support our guests, y'all, so we can get more eyeballs and having people hear her story. So I'll pitch back to Bella.
All right.
Softball.
I think I don't understand why I said that. Like, she's like who I want to. Like, I want to grow up.
Yeah.
Do music.
Oh, I get it.
That's exactly who I want to be.
Yeah. I literally am like, oh no.
It's wild.
It's another expensive child.
So our next question is, what are some challenges that you faced along the way in your music career, and how have you overcome them?
In the same breath of, being involved in different types of artistic medium. So, being a singer, being an engineer, being a vocal producer, writing, and then, photography and graphic stuff. Along the way, it can definitely, one of those things, they're going to be forgotten about. One of those things for me was my artistry. I feel like I probably have maybe like 4 songs out. I don't have much music out at all. And I feel like,
hold on, you having 4 songs is more than most people. So let's just pause for a second. Like, I only have, we ain't got none. Let me just be clear. Like, there are millions of people who have 0, but they have a dream. And that's why I wanted to make sure I call it out. There's a lot of people who have dreams, but they do nothing with it. You're literally gifted and talented, and you're doing something with it. So we're going to take the 4 songs you have and give you a huge pause and shout out, because there are people who are going to say stuff and they have nada. Please proceed.
Thank you. So in, developing my artistry around a group of other artists, I was in that collective at high school. You see your friends putting out literal albums and just these lengthy projects, and just being surrounded by a handful of artists, and they're all doing all these shows, releasing all these music, doing all these music videos and photo shoots. It wasn't that I didn't want to do it at the time. I just didn't have the capacity to do it. Like, I was still simultaneously working at a photography studio and having other responsibilities, and really being involved in my college life and just being a student and just enjoying my life. I feel like I never really had a moment where I was super invested into my artistry, if that makes sense. Like, I was passionate about it, but I was never going like full force, like release music, do this video, do this, do that. Almost every song I've released is kind of like I just put it out and kind of just let it be. I never really did too much promotion or anything like that artists do. And being that kind of artist that kind of just works in my own time frame, it definitely made me question if I wasn't doing enough, or if people weren't listening, or if people weren't supporting as much as they, supported my other artist friends, or feeling like I was behind in a sense just because I wasn't as focused in my music as everybody else was. So I kind of had to realize that I had my own path, my own timing that worked for me. Like there's artists all over the world. Everybody's not going to be working on the same type of time. And I just also understand now that, you know, there are certain seasons where we are meant to be go, go, go. Like I'm doing this, doing that. And there's other seasons where we just have to sit back and work on ourselves so that we can be ready for those go, go, go seasons. So I think one of the biggest challenges, and not even just with music, just with life period, is just being secure in my own timing of everything. Even like when it came to college, like I took a semester off of school because it was a lot. Like it was a lot of money. Like it just wasn't working. I was getting stressed out. Like I didn't even want to finish at one point. And so, you know, sitting back and watching all of my friends graduate, and here I am not looking stupid at home, but you know, just, you know, wish that could have been me, or having that moment and just really being like, okay, like that's their path. That's not mine. That's not my story. That's not what was meant for me. So just being secure in that in every situation, whether it be school, my art, just life, just anything. That's just being comfortable in your own timeline. Everybody gonna be doing stuff all the time.
That's right.
And just because people are doing stuff, that don't mean that they want to be doing it. That doesn't mean that they're happy doing it. So like social media is a huge, like, it's just a huge filter for so many things.
Yeah.
You can't believe any of that.
That's right.
So it's just like really remembering that and just being confident in who I am, and just knowing that your gifts will always make room for you, just no matter what.
Wait, hold on. This is not it was not a setup. I literally put that out in a post. I think it was maybe last week or so. Mm-hmm. Literally what you just said. And I thank you for saying it. And we're making sure that maybe this is going to be the clip that somebody else says it. Because so many people need to be reminded of that. There's a lot of folks, and to your point about folks bring their quote unquote best to social media, and then people start believing what they're seeing, not understanding that a lot of times there's a struggle behind, you know, and that facade that you see, and so people end up competing with the time. And you know, things didn't happen for me, but it happened for Jim. Things didn't happen for me, but it happened for Bob, or whatever, right? So I love that you're putting that out, and the fact that you rested in your time frame. I'm taking all of this in for my own self, and I'm over 50, okay? But resting in your time frame also gives you a chance to really hone and craft your gift and your skills. So I told y'all, listen, your mom said to me that you were a unicorn. And when I met her and we were talking about you behind your back, you know, and your mom is coming on another show in a couple of weeks or so. I think I have it right in my calendar, but she shared some just in talking about you as a person, and literally as she was sharing your personality, in my head, I was like, this is the kind of woman that I would want my daughter to model, to, you know what I mean, to look up to meet, and literally all of that. And now I'm picking up exactly what she said. So I just want to pause here, because we're going to replay this a lot, especially during the school year for kids, especially teens, you know, coming out of high school, going into college. You know, so y'all can hear from someone your age, not me, literally, you know, what the journey could and should kind of look like. I'm sorry, Bella, I keep stepping over my new daughter.
Oh man, that's the truth though. It's definitely the God honest truth that youth of today definitely need to understand, especially with the new culture of social media and, you know, the idolization of different celebrities and things like that. Like everything is not, you know, sugar and all of that, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, if you don't settle into your own pace, you're definitely gonna burn yourself out. You're definitely gonna be in spaces that you're not prepared for. And that's the last thing you wanna be, last place you wanna be. So that is my spiel.
She said what she said.
And she said it well.
Thank you.
Let's see. Okay, our next question. Who are some artists, past or present, that have inspired your style or approach to music?
I would say that Brandy is probably my number one.
I love Brandy.
She will probably always be my number one.
I love
Like,
her.
especially when it comes to like being a vocal producer and what all goes into that. She's, I don't know, I'm literally speaking. She's such a genius. I just don't understand it. But Brandy's my number one. When it comes to somebody old school, Anita Baker is definitely an artist that I listen to a lot and definitely try to mimic, and like just her approach and her tone. Like she's just so like
sultry.
You know, I was just about to say that.
She's so sultry. She's like a
you know?
Yeah, you can bite into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. There's so much like body in her voice.
Yeah.
So much in her voice.
Yeah.
But she's definitely an older artist that I definitely look up to a lot. A newer artist of today that I really resonate with is her.
Okay.
She's one of my favorites because I don't know why. It just feel like one day we'll be friends. I feel like we get along really well. But even seeing how she decided to like develop her artistry, like she started off like kind of closed off, wore sunglasses, then show her face for a while, and really just make the music about her, like in her voice, and really, you know, putting emphasis on that, and just her entire style of how she does everything is just very unique to her. Like she's multi-talented.
She's not copying. You don't get a sense that she's not copying. She's not over commercialized. She's not overly marketed.
Over sexualized.
And she's not over sexualized. Thank you. Yeah, it's just the music.
She's very much herself. So I feel like, you know, when it comes to figuring out how to be an artist and not, you know, having an example of what it looks like to not expose yourself, or to not, you know, put out music that doesn't necessarily agree with your spirit or like the message that you want to send, and really being comfortable in, okay, there's artists out here that are successful that don't talk about vulgar things or vulgar language, and, you know, figuring out how she communicates those things without being super like out there, and just, you know, she's a very classy artist that I definitely appreciate a lot. But honestly, those are my top three.
Wow.
Beyonce is always going to be in the conversation because Beyonce's Beyonce. Beyonce.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a given to me. But Anita Baker, her, and Brandy, they're like my top three for sure. For sure.
I love that. We need to make sure we accidentally tag them on Instagram.
Exactly. But honorable mention, Victoria Monet. She's a newer one.
Yes.
Newer one. But she's definitely up there. Yes. Yeah.
You give off like her vibes.
Really?
You sound like her too. You sound like a mix of her and Beyonce.
Wow.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
I used to get that a lot, and I used to get Janae Aiko a lot when I first started. My voice was super, super light, sound like a kid. But thank you. I'm flattered.
Okay, so our next question. For teen listeners who may be interested in music, what advice can you offer about developing their skills and navigating the music industry?
The first, it's so interesting answering this question now because I recently became an educator, like within the past 2 years. I was teaching middle schoolers and high schoolers, anything from like vocal lessons to songwriting to artist development, stage presence, vocal projection, stuff like that. Audio engineering as well, like recording songs for students. And just teaching them about just what it even means to be an artist and like what it takes to do any of that. And a lot of teenagers, they just want to make music that's gonna go viral, or make music that's gonna just make them some money real quick, and not really think about what exactly they're saying or the message that they're sending. So before even considering being an artist, you have to ask yourself the question of what's my purpose and what's the message that I want to send. Just period. Because before writing, you have to know who you are as an individual. Like, what's my brand? What's my image? Like, who's my target audience? Who am I making music for? You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, we make music for ourselves, but having an audience in mind can definitely, it makes a difference when you make music. And so knowing who you are first definitely is huge, because if I say, okay, I'm a young 25-year-old woman and I want to promote, individuality and knowing yourself and loving yourself and all those things. If I start there and I know that, I know what kind of music I need to write. But if I just start and sit down and just start writing about anything, people say if you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. So especially in the music industry, if you're just out here, that is not smart, because now, you're a pawn, you're a tool, you're just a vessel to be used for anything. And you definitely want to have an identity before you even decide to do any of that. So definitely standing firm on what your morals are is definitely super important, because like me, I don't like to curse. I don't like to spread anything derogatory or like drug and alcohol usage, like just that kind of, violent stuff. And so in knowing that, even when it comes to like people asking me to sing on their songs and I listen to the music that they make, I'm able to say like this isn't the collaboration for me, because this doesn't align with my morals and who I am. And so I feel like that's one of the biggest and most important things that you can, understand for yourself if you're an artist, because if you get to these bigger levels and you're in bigger rooms with, labels and things like that, they don't care about that. They just trying to make some money. They're just
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Do that. And, it's easy to see a price tag. It's like, ooh, like, yeah, I want that. But then now you're doing anything to get it. So I feel like if you have that firm foundation to begin with, nothing can really shake you. Because even when it comes to like how successful you may be in your craft, like I don't have a ton of followers. I don't have a ton of listeners like on my music, a ton of plays, but I like the music. I like the songs that I put out. And so that makes me happy. I like the message that I'm sending, and that fulfills me as an artist, not the accolades, not the congratulations, not the amount of streams, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just being firm in who I am and knowing that I'm sending the right message to my listeners and people that may be looking up to me who I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's the most important thing. It's just knowing your purpose, knowing your morals, your values, and just what message that you want to spread. That's first before anything.
Wow, that's power, and that is again. That's why I love her. This is so amazing. This is so amazing. Okay, but this is also important in business, in life. Again, whether you're a parent, you're a teacher, whatever. It really, this advice applies to all of us. And so I just want to and also the point about followers, because even this is something that, again, I think a lot of people miss, because you could have, look, in real terms, you could have 1 million followers and have still zero revenue from it, because you have to convert followers into clients or a community that you're selling to. Okay. The other thing though is that there are people that they might have 50, but it's still 50 people that you're feeding something into. It's still 50 people that you're responsible for, because you've invited them to be a part of this community that you created. And so you do have to be mindful of what you're saying and how you represent. So all and everything that you're saying is just spot on advice for anybody in business, anybody in school, anybody at all who I think is going to really benefit from this. I'm so excited. I'm like, how many ways can I clip this thing and like she said, like do what she said. That's awesome. So I want to, we're coming down to time. I want to ask one last question. My question would be, what do you want to be? And I know the sun is like acting crazy in here. This is natural light. But what do you want to be remembered for? You're still fairly young, but even as because you're so like, wait, there's a question in the room that I think now I'm going to have to ask before I ask my, can we get a few bars?
Not asking for a friend. You know what y'all can do? Y'all can stream.
I was gonna say I dropped the link tree and we're gonna pay for this. We're gonna support Black business.
Yeah, I'm only saying that because it's been a long. This has been my resting week. I'm literally like recovering. I had a busy week last week, like just a lot of singing, a lot of traveling.
We've got actually I'm gonna make it even easier, and I'm gonna drop her YouTube channel, which also has videos, so that I'm making very, very easy for y'all. We are not about to mess with my client. Just kidding. We're not gonna give away music. By the way, not for free. By the way, Nate, who is all of ours, including my art talent coordinator. So I'm just messing with him. I'm sorry, Nate. I'll get it together. I'm telling you.
It's okay. It's so funny when people ask singers to like sing on the spot.
Yeah.
You don't do that to anybody else.
Yeah.
Like, chef, cook something right now. Like,
it's like exactly. Make me something to eat. You got 3 ingredients: salt, pepper, spice.
Like, oh yeah, I'm a dancer. Let me see 8 count right now. 5 6
Right.
Bust out an 8 count. Oh my god.
Singers.
Oh my god. And comedian, like, tell me a joke.
Yeah.
Exactly. It don't work.
Like you're right. I kind of questions I get, like, solve a problem or whatever. I'm like, yeah, for $1,200 I will. Just saying, support Black business.
All right.
So my question was, like, what do you want to be remembered for?
Honestly, just remember for my creative mind. Just whether that be whether it be like my voice, whether it be anything that I vocally produce, whether it be work that I do for like the community and like students I teach, or just anything. I just want really just my spirit and my heart to just be left on things that I put my hands on. If that makes sense.
That's powerful.
Yeah, like I don't even have like specific goals in mind. I just want to be able to say like, I did that, or I reached this person, or I left this here, or I left this infrastructure here. I'm really passionate right now about youth and being a mentor to young.
Oh my God! I literally in my head that was gonna be my. Are you mentoring students, and can I offer my daughter? Oh my God.
Yes. So I didn't talk too much about the job that I just came from, but I was working for a nonprofit organization, and on top of giving music services, I'm also there as just as a mentor, as somebody that can help direct them through any issues they may be having at home, stuff with like mental health and like anxiety, depression, that kind of thing. And I don't work there anymore, but now I'm in a mode of how can I offer my services just in different schools and different places and different communities, and how can I, set certain foundations or certain, programs into place. Like, how can I leave my mark on these places without having to necessarily be there?
Right.
So that's really the mode that I'm in, whether that be in relation to youth and like being an educator, or whether it's like creative spaces. I just want to leave my SOS sprinkles wherever I can.
Nicely done with the branding.
Yes. But I definitely do want to get more into, mentoring and that kind of thing, because it's definitely a passion that I developed recently. And it's something that I know that I can do, and it's something that I'm actually good at now. My job just prepared me for a lot, because I saw 155 students a week. So just dealing with, all those different dynamics, and these are students that are from the west side of Chicago, like, you know, one of the roughest neighborhoods over here, which is in Austin. So, you know, having that on my shoulders and, you know, knowing that they have 24/7 access to me, they have my phone number, they can text at any time, like, Miss SOS, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay. And, you know, and even just being there as a woman in the space, some of these organizations, they, you know, it's either a lack of women or a lack of men or whatever the case may be, just making sure that they have that other person that they can go to outside of their family, like somebody that can vouch for them or somebody that can just support them and listen to them, like, through whatever. That's something I've been super passionate about lately. So I'm excited to, you know, step more into that now. For sure.
That's fantastic. Well, when you raise up that foundation or that nonprofit or that program or whatever, please let us know, because there is an absolute need, and, you know, Zoom works, right? We learned from what we just came out of the last few years that Zoom and connecting actually still works well. So that gives you even more of a scale to reach people, and setting up workshops. And now I'm all in your business and building out your business plan for SOS, because that's what I do. So my brain is like, oh yeah, I can tell you how to do this easy.
Yeah.
Easy. Oh my gosh. So this was so good. I'm so grateful, Bella. Thank you so much for hosting another Thursday program, and your new sister.
Well, you can call me anytime. Give me my phone number. I'll give it to you.
Your sister here will take over. So we're going to hang out in the back for a few minutes for our after party with, Beyonce can't make it. And we'll see if Brandy can show up. Her might be here, but I don't know. So we'll tell everybody, thank you so much, y'all, for watching. And, you know, again, like the channel on the way out, subscribe so they'll keep us on these streets. They'll knock us off the streets. And we just truly appreciate your heart, everything, your light, your love, everything that you're doing in this space. And nothing but the best coming for you, for real.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
Yay! Bella, now tell the people bye so I can hit this outro.
Bye. Thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Please like, share, subscribe, follow, do everything. Thank you. Thank you, Sakyrah, for joining us today. We are so very, very grateful that you were able to be here. And I hope y'all have an amazing whatever time of day it is. We'll see you when you see you.